Hey everyone, and welcome to another Tuts tutorial with me, Shruti Shekhar. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about frames, but before I do, I would like to always mention that it's very important to have your fundamentals before your filmmaking. Have a great storyboard and brainstorm what exactly you want to film, because if you don't, adding nitty-gritty details like frames, your character settings, your scenes won't really make a difference because it will make you unaware of what you're going to film. So always remember your fundamentals, have a great storyboard, and know when you're going to film and what you're going to film. That being said, let's talk about frames. What do I mean by frames? Basically, it's your angles that you're going to create in a film to convey specific types of emotions or a scene setting. Now, it's very important in filmmaking when you do this, because that way you can create specific emotions. It's also important to know the specific times that you're going to use them. You won't necessarily use an extreme close-up shot of my ear when I'm talking about something important like, I don't know, my goldfish died or something, because that would take away from the emotion of what I'm trying to say and take the viewers away from what I'm trying to say. So it's always important to have specific timings and the right timing when you're going to do this. Again, that being said, this is your film. Make it look exactly how you want it to be. Take your time in thinking when you're going to use specific frames and how you're going to use them. I'm going to go through the 8 different basic frames, but always remember that you can use this whenever you want. It doesn't really, there's no formula to when you use these specific frames in your filmmaking. So the first 2 shots I'm going to talk about are very similar to each other. You have your extreme long shot and your long shot. An extreme long shot, as the title suggests, is a very, very zoomed out scene setting shot that is used by many cinematographers and videographers to let audiences know where exactly they're going to be in the remainder of that specific scene. So for example, I don't know if you watched Full House as a kid, but in the credit scene there was a shot of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. So when you watched it, everyone knows the classic iconic Golden Gate Bridge scene, so people know, okay, so the show is going to be in San Francisco. And now you can have that with many things. You can have a scene setting scene of Toronto, for example. You'll have the CN Tower, or maybe of the buildings that are in the sea. It doesn't really matter. It's just a very basic shot of what exactly you're trying to convey in terms of your scene to people. It could also be something standard, like maybe mountains. Maybe you're talking about a caveman in some mountain somewhere. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but it's definitely to convey a scene or a setting, to set your location. The second one is a long shot. The long shot is also to set the setting or the scene of where you're going to be, but it's a little bit more focused. So, okay, maybe we've conveyed to the audience that with an extreme long shot, we've shown Toronto at its whole, but maybe you want to zoom in on a little bit of a neighborhood for where a person lives. You might get a shot of a building that the person lives in as well as the surrounding area. That could be your long shot. It's still creating the scene of where your film's going to be, but it's a little bit more focused. The next one is your standard full body or full shot. So basically this is a shot from the head to toe of anyone that's in the shot. It could be 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter how many people there are in the frame, but it's your standard head to toe shot. Your next shot is your American Western shot or your 3/4 shot. It's my favorite shot, and it's a little bit interesting because it's got a little bit of a historical background to it. So before I explain to you what the shot is, I'm going to tell you what it is. So back in the 30s and 40s in America, when Americans were making cowboy films, they wanted to have a specific type of shot that was created without using different frames or different angles. So they dubbed the American Western shot, where they would have one guy that was further away in the scene and one person that was closer to the camera. And the angle of the camera, the bottom of the frame would sit at the knee and above to create a very confrontational kind of scene and not having to have different angle shots because you had 2 people in one shot. So it's very specific. You wouldn't necessarily use it for every kind of scene, but it's very helpful to have when you're creating confrontation between 2 different people. The next 2 shots are very similar to each other, but they also convey a very important message and emotion. You have your medium shot and your medium close-up. Your medium shot is, again, a very standard type of shot to have between 2, 3 people that are talking between each other. It's your waist up and you can have many people. It can convey specific emotions. You can have conversation between 2-3 different people. It doesn't really matter, but always remember that it's the waist and above. Your medium close-up is, again, a little bit more zoomed in, but it's your bust and above. And you wouldn't necessarily do 2 or 3 people with this shot. You probably do one person because you're trying to focus in on a specific person and an emotion that they're trying to convey, or a conversation or idea that they're trying to portray. The last 2 shots are, again, also similar but very different. You have your close-up and your extreme close-up. A close-up is when your face of your character extremely fills in the entire frame of the camera. This is definitely a very specific emotion, and you should probably use it sparingly because you wouldn't necessarily want to have an entire movie or a shot or a scene, 5-sequence film with just close-ups of someone. That would be a little bit weird. So it's, again, the whole face films the entire frame. An extreme close-up a lot of the times is used for B-roll, to transition between specific scenes or etc. But it's also used for conveying specific details. So maybe I want to show someone the honey that I ate. Instead of just saying it, maybe I'll do an extreme close-up of the bottle so people know what honey I'm talking about. It's very important to have these type of scenes because it fills your shots. It fills your frames and what you're trying to convey. It's very specific and detailed. So those are your 8 different types of shots. Again, like I said, timing, that's up to you on when you want to use these specific types of shots, what emotion you're trying to convey. But also remember that it's very important to have these shots. It's very important to create these emotions to your audience because they want to engage with whoever they're watching or whatever they're watching. So I hope this tutorial helped, and I hope you had a better understanding of the 8 different types of frames that are used in cinematography and filmmaking. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.